Welcome, Curvis, to the 95th episode of the Curve the Cube podcast. This is your host, Jemmy Lagonier, and on today's episode, I have Joe Russo. He is the executive director of Palm Beach Tech, and we talk all about innovation and collaboration. And the mission of Palm Beach Tech is to galvanize and grow the tech industry of Palm Beach County to become a landmark tech and innovation hub. They have already had a multi-million dollar impact on our economy. And we talk about how that's calculated. It's actually really interesting how he pulls that all together. But Joe and I get into why it's been his passion and mission to connect the tech community of Palm Beach while also rebranding the area as a hub for such innovation. So follow him everywhere as Joseph R. Russo, and follow Palm Beach Tech on Twitter as Palm Beach Tech FL. On Instagram is just simply Palm Beach Tech, and of course you can find them on Facebook. They always have cool events going on with an impressive lineup of speakers and a great foundation of support for small businesses and independent thinkers, including building a collaborative space. So if you are a local, be sure to follow, join, and get involved. Otherwise, let Joe inspire you to reimagine your town and community. What can you do to improve your local schools, economy, crime levels, reduce homelessness, etc.? You know, what is most striking about Joe is his ability simply to think on a grander scale. And I want you guys to do that and think that way too. So sit back and relax and enjoy this, the 95th episode of the Curve the Cube podcast with Joseph Russo, the executive director of Palm Beach Tech. Enjoy. Curve the Cube will now initiate.
Let's go outside because it's going to be way too loud. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. All right. Let's see. I'm moving at a snail's pace on day 4 of a migraine. Do you ever get those?
No, I don't get migraines.
Oh, you're so lucky. Oh, this is for you.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you're drinking. Let's go. We can go look. So how are you today?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Just moving slow.
Yeah. I think there's something in the air because I'm definitely moving very
Yeah, there was
slow.
something in the beer as I drank last night.
Well, then there's that too. Where'd you go? Was it a special event thing?
No, my roommate's new in town, so.
Oh, okay. New roommate?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So I was just showing her around.
that's cool. That's nice of you. All right.
What else am I gonna do? Drink by myself?
Well, I was hoping to test out a new toy that I have with you today, but it's not
Sony.
quite in the mail yet. What's that?
Oh.
It's not here yet, yeah. No, I ordered these 2 lav mics. I was like, this is perfect. I'll try out my new tech toys with my tech guests. They didn't even come in the mail. They got delayed.
Great timing.
But anyway, I digress. Ooh, so tell me about Palm Beach Tech's origin story. How did this thing get off the ground?
So Palm Beach Tech is very simple idea when it gets down to it. What are you doing in technology in Palm Beach County? Who's talking about it?
Yeah.
Who's leading it? Who's asking the questions and doing things that need to be done?
Yeah.
And over a year and a half ago, we didn't really have that.
Mm-hmm.
And take a perspective on that for a second. If you had a technology industry that never focused on improving itself, we would not be in the world we are today.
Yeah, it'd be pretty stagnant.
We are. And, we have other issues nationally as far as technology goes and computer science education, computer coding education, the like. But, let's just focus on Palm Beach County for a second.
Yeah.
We're not really doing that much. If you think about it, you have places like Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Silicon Valley is kind of the cliche term that goes along with any area of technology these days.
Of course,
but
the whole
when it
internet
comes,
bubble and all that, yeah, absolutely.
But when it comes to the Palm Beaches, we didn't have anything they had.
Right.
We didn't have Michael Dell starting Dell Computers. We didn't have Steve Jobs. We didn't have Bill Gates up in Seattle.
We didn't have a figurehead down here, or
Now, and understand that for a second. The figurehead in those cases is a company, is a person, is a group of people. Here, in other places, in other places, it's not a company. In other places, it's a group of people. It's an organization. There are leadership capacities in places that are prime for technology growth. And albeit in Austin, it was Dell Computers. In Orlando, there's Orlando Tech Meetup, Orlando Tech Association. Miami has been doing things collaboratively for over a decade.
Collaborative release, that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah. There's been a lot of events. There's been a lot of efforts down there for well over a decade now, and they've been able to build off of that. They've been able to grow off of that. We didn't have that. So asking those questions, we looked at all these places. We looked at what they were doing.
Who's we? Just
myself. For a start, I took a lot of research and a lot of planning, and I brought a lot of this information, a lot of this research, to a group of people. That was a working group of sorts for the Palm Beach Tech Association, like precursor to it, where we kind of brought up the idea of working together in this way in an organization. We decided to found it, which took place on July 7th of 2015.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you looked around, what was the most striking opportunity that you felt was there?
There are so many, because we were slacking for so long. I say that with all due respect to the people who have done a lot of work in economic development business. If you look at Palm Beach County now, we're very focused for a financial and a banking type of economic development strategy.
It's true.
We were also very focused, and we still are to an extent, on biomedical research, right?
That's true.
Scripps, Max Planck, the like.
Right.
Technology was never really a big priority. That's not to say it was. I mean, any company who wants to move here is priority, right? Any company who wants to grow here. But I typically agree more with the concept of economic gardening as opposed to economic incentives. So understand the concept there for a second. Economic incentives. You have a big company, let's say in California. They want to move to the Palm Beaches. So how do you get them here? Well, economic incentives, right? You make the deal, the best deal that they can get. So you throw in tax credits, and financial, all this stuff. And then there's the concept of economic gardening, where you focus on incubating the next generation of entrepreneur, next generation of company locally, and you focus on resources that are going to provide that to them. So we have to take a balanced approach there, because some of the top companies in Palm Beach Tech started in their extra apartment room, started in their in their garage, started in the Starbucks down the street. Those type of stories, origin stories, are big here. And then when you break it down and who was doing what, I mean, in Palm Beach County before Palm Beach Tech, there was quite a lot. Don't get me wrong there, but there were a lot of disjointed efforts. You had meetups over here and user groups over there, and you had this thing going on, that thing. There wasn't really coordination. There wasn't really a platform of collaboration, and there wasn't really a lot of big things. So we've been putting that together, and just simply putting people together sometimes is all you have to do.
Right.
And by no means do I, as an individual, or the organization as a whole, in my opinion, take credit or should take credit for the overall growth or the momentum, because it really has to do with the people. You give people an opportunity to do more, and they're going to do it. And I think that's what we've seen here. Granted, I work my ass off too, but that's another story.
You're all over the place. It's actually Palm Beach Tech and you as an individual I've been following you for quite some time, and it's been really impressive to see.
I knew I should have looked behind me.
It was only physically following you a few times, I promise, just a few. But no, it's been interesting to watch how things have grown, and I wanted to read for the listeners the mission of Palm Beach Tech, as I pulled it from the website. The Palm Beach Technology Association will galvanize and grow the technology industry of Palm Beach County to become a landmark technology and innovation hub. So I was wondering when I read that, how does Palm Beach, in a nuts and bolts way, how does Palm Beach Tech work towards that goal?
So understand, I guess, the wording in there, and the fact that it was carefully chosen to understand we want to line up the troops here. We want to get all of the companies and all of the stakeholders engaged to build this. So that foundation is what's has been our first priority, and we've done a pretty good job at growing that, and we continually grow it. But now, we need to focus on growing it. Because what Palm Beach County is, as far as tech, is a giant puzzle. One that was never put together. Yeah. One that was always disjointed. We had this and that going on. That's not to say pieces of the puzzle were never put together. That's not to say great things haven't happened. But, the puzzle was all out there. Now, when I say a puzzle, there are pieces missing. There are certainly pieces missing, but there are certainly pieces there, but we didn't even know that they were there. Right. So we haven't even looked. So as we keep on going more and keep on piecing all of these companies, all these people together, we realize what's here. We realize what's not here. We realize what we need to do to add to it. And when we keep on doing that and creating that puzzle, we're going to grow the industry and create a vivid picture of innovation here in the Palm Beaches. And when I say landmark technology and innovation hub, what I mean by that is I believe that we can and we will be competitive with the other major hubs of innovation in the United States and the world. You can throw out a few big ones there. Silicon Valley's overdone. I hate people that say Silicon Valley. Silicon anything. It's like, okay, I get it. Whatever. They did stuff. It's cliche.
It's old news. Let's move on.
There's a group up in Fargo, North Dakota. I watched a video for as we were doing some research a couple weeks ago, and this little promotional video for them, their events, their space, and all that. It kind of grabbed me because I saw a lot of authenticity in it. But they had a pretty good ending point in that. It's like, we don't want to be the next Silicon whatever. We want to be the first Fargo, North Dakota. And when you think about that, you're like, okay, one, they have pride in Fargo. Yeah. Two, they understand that they're going to be unique. And Florida is going to have to be unique. Palm Beach is going to have to be unique to set themselves aside.
In a way that we aren't nationally seen as quote unquote unique already. And in a very, let's try to make it a more positive way.
What is Palm Beach known for?
Oh my God! You never see the hashtag Florida?
Hashtag Florida man.
Yeah, right. That's an account. Yeah, I've seen that one. It's like we're known for less savory stories, unfortunately. So it's good to be known for something a lot more positive.
Let's break it back for a second. What do you think Palm Beach is known for? Palm Beaches.
I think Palm Beach is known for beaches, retirement, social life, fancy cars, beautiful women, culture. Okay, it's been known for a lot of those things, and so and banking
throw golf
and stuff.
In there.
Golf, definitely. Golf is a big one. So I think for you to be making such an effort for it also to be known for tech and innovation is amazing.
So understand what you said in there. You said banking at one point. You never said technology.
Right.
If you go to Austin, Texas, people ask, what is Austin known for? They're going to say, hipsters. They're going to say technology. South by Southwest is big there, obviously. But there's no... when you get to a point where the perception of your area is not reflective of what you want to be. Right. You have a brand problem. Right. You have a brand problem that exceeds far beyond whatever you're going to be able to do. What my intention is and what my thought process is, let's leverage the brand that we have. We have wealth. We have beaches. We have a place that people want to be. Exactly. Let's leverage that and let's have technology thriving in paradise in the Palm Beach. Right. Don't worry about Silicon whatever. Don't worry about .com whatever. Don't worry about internet. Those things have been there, been fad. They've created their wealth. What's the next generation of wealth that we're going to create in this country? And can we create that in the Palm Beaches? The answer is yes, but we've got to work on it.
So what do you see the unique personality of technology being down here?
It's always semi-industry specific. AR/VR is the big thought process that people are looking at now.
AR/VR?
Augmented reality and virtual reality.
Oh, VR.
So if you were going to buy...
I have a VR case in my bag right now. I'm huge on VR. I love that stuff.
So VR has been around for a while, right? Yeah. VR is like... there's all of these simulators and video games and whatnot. There are PlayStation and Xbox are coming out with virtual reality. It's pretty fun. It's basically your TV screen and a headset. Right. And you have motion sensors that correspond to your movement. It's a pretty simple technology, and they've done a lot to maximize its efficiency and effectiveness. So that's one thing. Augmented reality. That's where personally I don't know where the ceiling is yet.
I don't know either.
I don't know if many people do. And there's a company in Broward County that's raised $1.3 billion to do augmented reality.
Really?
It's called Magic Leap. So the thought process is that can be big there. Going back to that Orlando area has a large industry in simulation and virtual reality type work. There's a lot of headquarters companies in Florida as well that do different various things, but they have technology companies all built within them, right? Office Depot headquarters, and like all that e-commerce work. There's Pratt and Whitney and Sikorsky and Lockheed Martin and Tire Kingdom, and I mean you can go on and on and on. You have all of these headquarters companies based here, right? And think about all of the ideas that are coming in that, and those, office furniture, right? Okay, let's merge that with technology. Let's figure out how we create the next generation of office. Right? These type of things can happen if you bring the right people together and you create the right environments around each other. So let's say Office Depot and Magic Leap get together and say, hey, let's build the next generation office with augmented reality. Absolutely.
Whole new level of conference rooms I can see.
Whole new level of water coolers. I keep on thinking about The Office now and what that would be like.
What it would be like? Oh my gosh. So,
but to answer your question, augmented reality, virtual reality, I think is where we can carve out a niche. It's very TBD. It can pop up in an instant.
And I see that you guys are doing some stuff with a virtual reality. I think I saw something about a virtual reality group or an event or something recently that you guys did.
There's a VR
meetup
group.
Or something.
There's a VR meetup that showcases that next generation of technology. And we had them at one of our meetups. So we can kind of learn a little bit about that. That next phase of tech and really where we can go with it.
So how do you get people like Rocco from Rocco's Tacos and the people from Uber and the people from Go Cravey and all these different industry leaders to come to your events and do speaking engagements and presentations? How do you do that?
I call them up. I'll be like, yo, we're having this thing. You want to come talk? And I'll give you a beer. And they're like, yeah.
Nice. All right, the formula's pretty simple.
So some people it's really simple. Some people are like pretty straightforward, and scheduling is kind of like the one thing you always gotta work with.
Of course.
But beyond that, you have some people that you gotta really work with to try and make it all work. Yeah. Some people are pretty simple. Somebody like Rocco, he has his staff and his scheduling people. But everybody, I think, wants to impart knowledge. They want to share ideas. They want to share knowledge. They want to make the world better and make people better.
What are some of the insights that they've shared? These types of people that you've invited to speak.
Well, you brought up Rocco. Rocco goes down to Mexico and buys everything for his restaurants.
Wow.
No, Rocco's Tacos completely designed from the ground up from Mexico. He brought an entire bar from Mexico, like a massive bar that had been in a semi-trailer.
What?
Check it up here. Yeah. So, go figure, right?
Oh my gosh, talk about authentic.
I mean, we've had some people come speak that, I find things very interesting when they're imparted on, when you don't even imagine that you're going to talk to them, talk about these things. So, there are some things that are going to be obvious, like Uber, or they're going to talk about policy.
Right.
Right?
Right. Especially because I think they spoke in the midst of a lot of legal issues and things that were surrounding the big fight down here. Yeah.
Yeah, and now Airbnb is becoming more of a thing, and we're looking into who we can get from that. It goes back to the sharing economy. But you have a guy who's coming to our next meetup, a guy named Adam Bolt, who's a West Palm Beach guy who lives down in Miami now. We were scheduling this out for a while for him to come speak.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, yeah, just so you know, I'm gonna be selling my company. So I'm like, oh, yeah, we'll probably announce it
different page on it.
Yeah, we'll probably announce it a week before. I'm like, sounds like an interesting conversation. And we had another guy who came who made an exit as well from the company. And the process that you think. You read about in Forbes magazine or whatever. It's like, oh, this guy sold the company, yada yada yada, and you sit down and you're like, oh, okay. So basically, you built a whole. My favorite was the guy from the tiebar.com. This guy named Greg Sugar. He lives in Boca now. Founded an e-commerce company for ties. You can buy $20. Big with the male demographic, obviously. He basically describes himself as a shitty lawyer who came up with an idea and just stuck with it enough to make it work, and then he sold it off to a private equity firm, made a bunch of money, and moved down with his wife to Florida.
Right.
And he's still in his 30s.
Not a bad story.
Heck, it all works, and but his story, I think, to get to my point, was they didn't have it planned out. A lot of the people we have coming in, you think that they have all of their stuff together. They planned it out from step 1 to step 5, 12, whatever. People change, ideas change. They have to pivot. They have to create. They have to build.
And you have to be open to that flexibility.
Exactly. I wish I could be more specific with some examples. There are plenty I've heard, and none of them are coming to mind right now.
That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, you make a good point. People do have to be more willing to be flexible and open to new opportunities. You never know where they're going to come from. What about it? What about Palm Beach Tech and what you're doing excites you more? Is it the business side of it or the tech side of it?
Business in what term?
Seeing the growth of and seeing entrepreneurship and that spirit.
Yeah, they definitely go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I love hearing about new companies just because the new ideas and the new technology that they're employing. So think about it from this perspective. You do a job that you enjoy because you have the people, and the people are all coming up with the next great idea. Imagine just having a job where you sit and you listen to all the great ideas. That's essentially what I have. But the more people I meet, the more we can help them grow, the more we can make things happen. But let me bring this back to your business point. I love the technology because of all the ideas.
Yeah.
Business side growth is a pro and a con. Pro because companies can grow, right? But companies have ceilings. Companies have points where it's hard for them to grow past a certain point because of the area that they're in, the industries, their business development. So companies move. Companies hit walls.
Right.
The hard part for me is seeing that and understanding how to fix it, how to be effective at it. So, we bring up startups, right? Startup Palm Beach is not the greatest place for comparatively to other places, sadly. We don't have the venture capital that we need. Florida as a whole does not have the venture capital it needs for companies to be successful. And that's a chicken and egg scenario right there as well, as far as what comes first, the startups or the VCs. But we need to be doing a better job in galvanizing the resources we have to help these companies grow to their full potential. Because if they don't, they'll leave, and we fail. And that's not something I'm comfortable with. That's not something I agree to. I reject that. I reject the idea that we can be okay with failure.
Right.
And not just our failure as an industry, as a people, but the failure of other people.
Yeah.
Because as other people fail, we fail.
Yeah. Success is a much better word than failure, I think.
Yeah, but success in some people's minds is subjective. I'm always about, I don't think I'll ever be satisfied with one layer of success.
How would you define success for yourself?
Constantly evolving.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. So when it comes to Palm Beach Tech, I know it's membership based. So let's get that piece on the table for people who are listening. How do they become members, and what does that look like?
You go on the website. You
PalmBeachTech.org.
Yeah, you go on PalmBeachTech.org. You can sign up through the website with your major credit card. It's all encrypted, so we put all the security on there, of
course,
just as well. But simply enough, we offer memberships based on the size of your company and the type of benefit that you need. Right. So we have large companies, small companies, ones of all different industry areas. And what we're trying to do with that is come up with a group of people that are investing not only in the future of their company, because we can give them ROI, return on investment, in various ways, but we can also improve the industry with their support.
So let's say I'm sitting here as an owner of a marketing firm, which I may or may not be. And I said, okay, and we're just in casual conversation, and it comes up that you're the executive director of Palm Beach Tech, and it comes up that I own a marketing a small marketing company here that I'm just kind of getting off the ground. How would you pitch the Palm Beach Tech to that small business owner who is just trying to get started, and what those benefits are?
So for a small business owner, somebody getting started, one of the things I always get asked for is who can do this and who can do that. The business development side, the reference side is always something I feel like we've been pretty decent at, and we can continue being good at. But going beyond that, I think we we do really well at trying to get people plugged in various ways. So whenever somebody becomes a member, I sit down with them, I talk to them, I want to know what they want to do, what they're looking to be, right? I don't want to just say, hey, you're a member, congratulations. I want to know how we can help them, because what they're doing is investing in the association, in part because of what we're doing on the industry side, theoretically, but also because they see value in becoming a member and meeting people. I have people that join and have had crazy return on investment. And they tell their friends and their colleagues, like, hey, you should join because I've made all this business and all this support.
Right.
So getting back to your question, if it came up, I'd say, listen, we can help you find more leads. We can help you get connected to people you can do business with. We can help you figure out how to be successful in this area, and work through it with you. Let's work together, and let's try and make this area more successful for technologies of all kinds.
So let's talk about you a little bit. What's your background in business and innovation? Like what are some of your earlier memories about loving this kind of a thing?
Technology in general is just something we all have grown up with in this generation. You grew up with it in school, and computers and video games, and
what did you find yourself doing tech-wise when you were little?
Video games.
Yeah.
Obviously.
What kind did you like?
All sorts.
All sorts?
Yeah. Not being overly specific, but yeah, I mean, I feel like that leads to understanding how computers work, and understanding how to build computers, and understanding how to create. But those were always finite. Now, as you grow older, and technology has grown more interesting in a lot of ways.
Right.
You can do a lot more, and that's why I think the next generation of people are going to find most interesting is they have the ability to create more than needed, and at a younger age.
Right.
So, going to it, like my background professionally is in public affairs. I worked in government, in politics, in business, in various capacities, all kind of working together. And that kind of brought me to the original question you were asking about the origin story of who's doing what in technology. And then that obviously got to a very bad stopping point, and I decided to do something about it.
Okay, good.
And that was out of a personal interest in technology and startups and innovation and entrepreneurship in the area.
And I saw that, I guess I owe you a big, huge congratulations, because I saw that you guys got awarded, got an award from the Knight Foundation and a couple other people for your space. So yeah, big congrats on that. And what is that all about, and where is that going to lead the organization?
Yeah, so one of the issues that we identified early on was co-working space, collaborative space, not only for office for people to work, but also for events, for gatherings. It was very limited. Now, we have there are co-working spaces now in downtown West Palm, Delray Beach, Lake Worth, and Boca, that are all well run and have good people. And the biggest problem for us was West Palm Beach, because this is the hub, right? This is the county seat.
Right.
This is where a lot of things happen. And we couldn't figure out, okay, why can't we do it here? Why has it not been done right? Why have we not been able to be successful? And we looked at that and we're like, okay, well, here's an opportunity with the space we're at now. And we decided to work on it. And we spent a lot of time and a lot of research and piecing it together, and a lot of time in applying for the grants, obviously. But when it gets down to it, you need some sort of focal point. We can be consistent on a monthly basis with events. We can be consistent in emails every week. We can be consistent by just having conversations over email and message, whatever. Being consistent on a daily basis. Understand that for a second. There have been events, there are people, before Palm Beach Tech came around, they're one off here, one off there. There's no momentum there.
Yeah.
You could do those things. That's fine. You can start and make things.
But there's no habit created from the people around you and the people you're trying to attract.
That doesn't build.
Yeah.
That doesn't build.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious in this world where you can go to this like conference, and I see it all the time. You're good at this business thing and that, and they're talking about all these ideas. Everyone goes home
full of energy, but separated from everybody else.
I'm like, okay. That's
what
it?
do we do with it?
They don't take notes. They don't record their ideas. They don't debrief them. They don't go back and say, how do we do this? They don't look at things and say, let's become better.
What are the connective opportunities right here, right now, amongst everybody who's here before you walk away?
Let's talk about problems. Let's talk about solutions.
Right.
I will bring in the recorders. I will bring in an agile coach. I will look at how we can be effective with all of these ideas. But we don't do that consistently. We look at these things and we talk about these things that are very ambiguous, right?
Abstract
like innovation. Okay, what does that mean?
Right.
Let's be practical about that rather than using buzzwords. It means having collaborative workspace. It means investing in incubating and accelerating type of programs. It means working with educational institutions to improve their programs and their curriculums and their ideas. It means bringing people into those programs, right? So we talk about Palm Beach Tech, we talk about the space. It allows us to do all these things and be all these things because we don't accept the answers that we're given. We don't accept that, technology is not going to be here in the Palm Beaches. We have to understand that the status quo in Palm Beach County is not sustainable. Understand that for a second. Status quo in Palm Beach County, unsustainable. What are our top industries? Agriculture, not going anywhere. Construction, finite. Healthcare, up and down. We have a population that's growing younger and more workforce oriented.
Right.
What are we doing with that? Questions.
Right.
Where are the answers? Things we have to answer and we have to figure out. And when we look at all the numbers, we're going to figure out that we need to be doing these things. So
it feels like
we try and do it.
Your vision or your perspective of your surroundings is very community oriented. Not everybody steps up and thinks of it from a higher level of more a bird's eye view. I'm getting all of that from you. That's your perspective and that's your vision. Why do you think that you gravitate towards that sense of mentality and away from what I think is much more common of just seeing what's in front of you and not really looking at the bigger picture?
Well, we have to be strategic. We don't have the time to be tactical. we talk about community. For one thing, the Palm Beach Tech meetups are always free. Startup grinds are always free. The other meetups we work with that we try and support, they're always free. Mm-hmm. Why? Because then you don't have a barrier to entry. You allow people to be there and learn and take part. Mm-hmm. When we work with other groups and people, there's obviously a point to charging when you're getting a return on investment. But you don't create community by creating barriers to entry.
Right.
You create community by bringing people together under the point of having a larger role in the world. Mm-hmm. One of the guys that I follow consistently is a fellow named Alex Hillman. Mm-hmm. He's in Philadelphia. He runs a co-working space called Indie Hall. It's known as Independence Hall. First of all, the guy is prolific on Twitter. He's absolutely hilarious and snarky as hell.
I'll have to look him up.
But more than anything, he gets down to these very key points and facets about. I read this morning on the way over here. Innovation is like kids making out in school. The ones who talk about it the most probably did it the least.
That's true.
And
that's hilarious.
Because he's cynical about all this stuff, right? He's just about bringing people together and working together, not developing and incubating companies, but developing and incubating people.
Right.
And that's my mindset.
That's good.
Improve people. You improve the companies with them. Mm-hmm. When we're talking dollars and cents, that's whatever. But what the world is going to wind up being known for, and what it's always been known for, is people. Mm-hmm. If you're a history buff like I am, you go back and nobody remembers what Thomas Edison's company was. They remembered who Thomas Edison was.
Right.
Inventions.
Honestly, not even remembering it. I never even thought about it.
Yeah. Right?
Never even thought about it.
But we think like, okay, Henry Ford. Well, obviously Ford cars, right?
Well, can't get away from that.
Yeah, right. But we remember people, and the more we understand that people are the point of this all, mm-hmm. and that the more amazing, talented, just brilliant people we can bring here, they'll create companies.
Right.
I don't care about the economic incentive idea. I don't care about encouraging companies to come here. Mm-hmm. I care about encouraging people to come here. Mm-hmm. People come to West Palm Beach and they see what we can do and they see the community that we can develop. Mm-hmm. The companies will follow. Mm-hmm.
I agree. So you talked a lot about helping people, and mm-hmm. so clearly it's important to you to make an impact. And I want to one number I saw online that I thought was really interesting was right on Palm Beach Tech's website. It talks about a $69 million economic impact. Two questions.
And we have to update that too.
Okay, well, two questions.
More than that.
How do you calculate that? Number one. Number two, what does it mean to you personally when you hear a figure like that that's part of your accomplishment?
So what we did was we asked the companies what is their revenues look like?
Mm-hmm.
How much money are they bringing into the Palm Beaches? We calculated economic impact based off that.
Gotcha.
It's all, nobody other than myself knows this. Those are all confidential figures.
Okay.
But so early on, we had to obviously legitimize not only the organization but the members who were part of it.
Right.
And looking at the amount of money that we're assessing towards technology. I mean, not only that, but also venture capital. Mm-hmm. Think about what $20 million means.
Yeah.
Right? There's a guy who's on our board of directors, and I had him get set up to speak at the Business Development Board of Palm Beach County. And he had a 15-minute talk about entrepreneurship and business and whatnot. At the end of it, it was a picture of him and his company at the Rapids water park with their families. And very simply enough, he gives jobs to those people. Mm-hmm. He had nine people, I think, 9 people working for him now. But when you create $69 million of economic impact,
right.
what you're doing is that you're not creating wealth. You're not creating a mansion on Palm Beach. You're not creating another sports car. You're
right.
creating livelihood for hundreds and thousands of people and their families, and giving them...
And pride, livelihood and a sense of
You're
pride.
giving them economic freedom.
Absolutely.
You're giving them the ability to live their lives like Americans have done for generations, by having the financial freedom to be who they are and do what they want. And when you think about what the stress levels are in your average American, finance is one of the biggest
huge
ones, right?
Huge.
And
tell me.
Yeah, right. That point in college where it's like, can I buy this beer? I wonder.
Ramen noodles for days.
But you get my point. So we're going to be doing another calculation of that soon.
Yeah.
We're going to be asking our members all about that, but that's going to be big. But one of the things we're also looking at is how to do an economic study to reference what's going on in other metropolitan areas as opposed to South Florida and the Palm Beaches in terms of technology jobs, right? What is the economic impact in technology? What's the average salary? How does that average salary for a web developer in California equate to an average salary in Palm Beaches?
Yeah.
People don't realize, you can make 6 figures out there in California. You got income tax. You got your standard of living
higher.
that's like 5 times as high. So people can, in theory, make more here, take home.
Right.
And I mean, a lot better place, let me tell you.
I'm guessing you're a fan of Palm Beach County. I kind of picked up on that.
I'm a fan of our very free market focus on economics. I say that we have a low tax rate from a business perspective. We don't have any income tax. It's all property tax. We've created an economic system at the statewide level that works, and locally, we've created enough opportunity that I feel like it's just primed to be picked up on.
Yeah. All right, so finish the sentence as it applies to Joe Russo. I am the biggest fan of technology. Are you a gamer? Are you Florida Marlins? Really? I did not see that coming.
The Miami Marlins.
Miami Marlins.
Getting back to your question, the biggest fan of the blank?
Yeah.
The biggest fan of innovation, of advocacy. Okay. Advocacy in terms of people as advocates, not in the term of politics as fighting for something, which is perfectly acceptable as well. I like when people fight for their ideas and their beliefs.
Yeah.
Getting back to technology. I'm the biggest fan of bold, crazy ideas. I want people in Palm Beach County that want to change the world.
Yeah.
I don't care how they want to change it. I want people who are going to demand themselves to say, this is the status quo. Let's take a hammer to it and let's figure out how to make this world better.
Oh, I like that.
Uber does that every day.
That's true. I like that a lot.
Why can't we do it?
And so what is on the horizon for Palm Beach Tech as you look? I mean, we're almost to 2017, so we're almost facing a whole new year. What's on the horizon for the organization?
Obviously, we have our space.
Yes.
We have a hackathon coming up.
Okay. What is a hackathon for those who may not know?
Hackathon is, think of it as a weekend where teams are building tech. So it's a weekend. So it's Saturday, Sunday. We're just going to be at the South Florida Science Center on November 4th through the 6th, where we put together teams, and these teams are going to come up with the best technology, and the best technology wins. We have judges coming from Levitas, PayPal, and Microsoft to figure out what the best tech is going to be. We're probably going to have 50 people there. We're keeping it rather small this round. Entrepreneur Week is coming up. We're partnered with some great people throughout Palm Beach County to put together some good things. We're doing our meetup in November. It's going to be women in technology focused.
Okay.
We're also going to be doing, this is TBD at this point, but we're looking at doing a Palm Beach Tech crawl. Did
this idea come to mind last night on your unofficial Palm Beach crawl.
No. These things have happened before. But we have a lot of tech companies in Palm Beach County, in downtown West Palm Beach specifically, that we can showcase through beverages.
Yeah. Tasty.
So, but there's going to be some other cool things coming up in Startup Weekend that other people are also organizing. There's going to be a social enterprise luncheon talking about social good, business, and entrepreneurship.
Like a giving back type of thing, or?
Yeah. So there are companies that are built with a mission and a focus to be helpful to the world and society.
Okay.
Startup Weekend is also going to be during that week. There's going to be a bunch of events downtown. We'll put out a website. It's going to be entrepreneurweekpb.com.
Okay.
When people want to go check that out. We're looking into the next year as well and doing some bigger and bolder and better things. But we'll see about that when we get to it.
How far into the future do you see for yourself? Can you envision a time when you've moved past Palm Beach Tech and you're doing some other thing, or where do you see your own life going?
It's hard to set an end goal with something that you don't see the ceiling yet for.
Yeah.
And it's not, in my case, in my belief system, you want to see something through.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing this through and all.
I like that. And where can people follow you as you see this through for long haul?
At Joseph R. Russo on every social media ever.
Okay. Ever.
Sign up for
even
on Palm Beach
FaceTime or not FaceTime, but Facebook. Not Facebook. Darn it! What was that?
Facebook.
What was that? No. That way early precursor. It was even before MySpace. I can't believe I'm Friendster.
Wow.
Were you Joseph R. Russo on Friendster?
No, I was not on that. She's losing it over here, people.
Just a little bit. All right, well, let's go record another podcast with the rest of the Eggheads.
All right, let's go do it.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Would you sign my guest book real quick?
Sure.
All right.
You have successfully curved the cube. Thanks for listening to this 95th episode of the Curve the Cube podcast. I hope you have enjoyed the ride with Joseph Russo. And this episode of Curve the Cube was brought to you by the Pizza Girls. The Pizza Girls are West Palm Beach's top spot for authentic New York pizza. Find them right there on the end of Clematis where it meets Flagler. They also have a new location, yay Pizza Girls, a Garden Square shop. So go to pizzagirls.com, and if you mention the podcast, then you can get 10% off your order. So also double yay for Pizza Girls. They're awesome. Seriously, it's really, really good pizza, and you can find them all over social media. So go ahead and look them up and celebrate a local entrepreneur, local entrepreneurs who are just doing really great things in our community and are leaders with girl power. So thank you, Pizza Girls, for bringing this episode, and thank you to DJ John Hitta for the music bed. And as always, please follow Curve the Cube everywhere too. So I'd really, really appreciate it if you would follow us, subscribe, leave comments. That is, after all, how we keep up in the rankings on places such as iTunes and Stitcher. With that, I'd say thank you again. This has been the 95th episode of the Curve the Cube podcast with Joe Russo. This has been your host, Jemmy Lagonier. Bye.